hated by few, respected by all, second to none. And today, during this hour or two, I'm interviewing someone that I've known for quite some time. Well, she's been around my life for a long period of time. I'm interviewing Janelle Gray. How you doing, Janelle?
Hi.
Yay, all right. Seems like we've been knowing each other a long time. For a minute. And, you know, I've been a long time fan of yours. And, you know, this, as Angelo had said before when we were doing the promos earlier, you know, he said, I can tell y'all related because we had both said yeah the same way. So hopefully in this interview process, we won't be having the same questions, and we do
have some grayisms.
Some common grayisms. All right, so I have your CD.
I see.
Yes, we just happened to sell one just a few minutes ago.
You did. Yes, you did.
How long has the CD been out?
Man, I think that's like 12 years now.
12 years.
12 years now. That's crazy.
12 years.
Yeah,
2010. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You ready to do another one? No?
Not so much. No.
No, you can't handle this, huh?
I cannot, in fact, handle it. I see what you did there.
Yeah, there you go. That's the name of the CD. Where can they get the CD at?
You can still actually get everything from iTunes, so you can actually download the entire CD on iTunes, and you can get it on cdbaby.com.
cdbaby.com. All right. Or you can come to the Commish Radio Show.
Or you could
come to the Commish Radio Show. Yeah, you can do that. All right. Mm-hmm. So you're not doing CDs now.
No.
And since this is, the Dallas Literary Festival is in town this week.
It is.
And we were talking about books and everything.
Yeah.
Are you involved in that?
Yes, I do write. I have a novel, Echoes of the Struggle, that was released, I think, in 2017. So, yes, I do write novels. I tend to do more plays and TV shows and feature films now that I would... Feature films, yeah.
Yeah, it's easy for me to say. I can't get my lines right because, as you know, I was in that cult classic Texas.
Yes. Go ahead. You enjoy this. Go ahead. Say the whole thing.
Angelo, did you know I was in that cult classic Texas Voodoo Zombies? Go ahead and Google me. Everybody, you know, go out and get it. Texas Voodoo Zombies. I played the cheap preacher, so I have a... What is that, a credit? What was that called? I mean, you're in movies.
You have an IMDb credit.
IMDb credit, right. And it says, primarily known as the cheap preacher from Texas Voodoo Zombies. Spielberg told me, Angela.
That's what I was waiting on. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
Spielberg told me that if I took that role of the cheap preacher, Angelo, that my career would be blacklisted and I'd never work in Hollywood again. That's true.
It's very common for people to follow up a lie with a line that says that's true.
I don't know. I don't think this is going to be a good interview. You're not supposed to call people liars like that. All right, so we're here today to talk about what's going on with you. It's all the rage right now.
Yes, yeah. It is all the rage right now.
All the rage. Go ahead, Angelo, put rage up right there so people can see what we're talking about. And Janelle, this is called Rage the Play.
Yes.
Well, tell us about Rage.
Rage is a play that is dedicated to putting the voices of women front and center stage and giving women throughout history, specifically Black USian women throughout history, a moment.
You said a word I'm not familiar with. What is that?
Black USian?
Yep.
I tend to use the phrase USian as opposed to American out of respect and honor to other people who are also Americans, including South Americans. So the times I lived in South America for a bit.
Where'd you live in?
In Colombia, in Bogota, Colombia.
Okay.
And a lot of my students there expressed a sentiment in which they had an irritation of sorts that people from the U.S. called themselves Americans because they too felt American, being from South America.
So in Colombia, they are Americans as well. That's what
many of them consider themselves Americans because America has two continents. We are north and south. So, okay. But we are the only country that has kind of claimed the name American for ourselves, making it so that others cannot use it.
That's true because the United States is called there's two United States in North America: the United States of America, and then the United States of Mexico. So it's two United States. Okay. All right. So. Back to, now that I figured out, what was the name of that?
I call it Black USian.
Okay, there you go. All right, so what happens in this?
So Rage, it actually started as an assignment for school. I was getting my master's, or actually this is my social justice certificate. And one of the instructors was asking an intentionally provocative question because I don't want it to seem as though this instructor was saying something to kind of bait me or anything, but it was a thought process in terms of because we know slavery was so bad, because we know Jim Crow was so bad, why weren't there more rebellions? And as I started thinking about the question, my return question was, what are you defining as a rebellion? What exactly makes it an uprising? And I think that there are many times that Black people, people of the global majority, people who are oppressed, have to suffer many indignities, daily indignities, that require some sort of rebellion. And sometimes it looks different to what we have kind of contrived or what we've kind of prescribed as rebellion. We think of it as something maybe violent, something that is seen outwardly, something that people have to actually act on. And sometimes it's just survival. Sometimes rebellion is just finding a moment of joy despite what's happening. And so I started to explore that idea of rebellion, and I started to explore what rage does and how one can rage against the daily indignities. And so rage is the end result of that exploration, in which I look at 10 different women throughout history from 1842 to 2022, and I have them respond to actual real events in history in which Black people were denigrated and undermined and killed. And I tried to get historical facts that are lesser known and just kind of embody what those women might have felt in that moment.
Now, why 1842?
1842 is just where I happened to start. That first event is the Cherokee Slave Revolt, and it was the revolt of enslaved people against the Cherokee tribe. And
enslaved people against the Cherokee tribe? Correct. Why?
So,
I thought the Cherokees and Black people, they were like, united. Because when people say, I have Cherokee blood in me, that's a good thing, right?
I have many thoughts to that, so I feel like I'm trying to make sure I don't box myself up into a corner here. But
it's the Commish Radio Show. That's what I do.
Yeah, I'm enjoying that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But no, I think that there are a couple of levels, and what I tried to do was look at the level that's not often explored. One of those is that there are Cherokee freedmen, and that there were people who were enslaved by the 5 civilized tribes, who, of course, wanted to escape. And those people were still considered Cherokee. And then when the U.S. government essentially came and took these people, when slavery was ended, they basically looked at people and said, like, you're Cherokee, you're not Cherokee, you're a slave, or what have you. And so there are Cherokee freemen who are known as descendants of those enslaved by the Cherokees. And so sometimes that gets conflated as well. So it's possible to not have Cherokee blood, but have Cherokee in your family. And by that I mean, ethnically speaking, you can have been raised as a Cherokee.
Okay, so it's like it being adopted into a family, then you are in that family. So
and I mean, and you think of just ethnicity in general is about the cultures that we pass down. And so you can be racially one thing, but ethnically something different. So it is very possible that sometimes what we've been passing
I
down.
see what you did there. You didn't say, you know, because that's what happens a lot of times. People say, I'm Cherokee, and it's like
Maybe
right
not.
now, the Cherokee tribes, they say, well, you're not. You know?
The Cherokee tribes very much
they're saying that now.
Are saying you are not.
They're doing sort of like an ethnic cleansing of their tribe.
There are a couple of ongoing lawsuits that are dealing with this.
Now, how long did it take for you to write Rage?
Ooh, well, since it was an assignment. It really started it took me about a month or two to get it on paper, but it has taken the past year and a half, 2 years to kind of mold the characters in the ways that I want them to, and really understand who they are in the grand story.
So you have 10 characters in this, you say?
There are more, but 10 main characters.
10 main characters. Mm-hmm. It's like a stage play.
It is. It is a collection of monologues by these 10 women. And this is, it's very intentionally designed to make sure that they get to speak their piece uninterrupted. They get to say what they need to say. They get a space to be angry or to be sad or to be resolute. They get a space to kind of have whatever that emotion is without being interrupted by men, by white people, by other women. They get a chance to have that moment themselves.
Yeah, why you say that by men? What do you mean by that?
Because there are intersectionalities of oppression. And so as women, you suffer one thing, but as Black women, you suffer something different. And you can continue to intersect all of those things.
So there's a difference between oppression between a white woman and a Black woman?
I absolutely believe that we are all oppressed differently because we are oppressed different ways and for different reasons. And that reason is important. So, yeah.
Intriguing. I mean, okay, so 10, the characters. Who are the 10?
They all have their own different names, their own different stories. So I'm not going to lie to you and tell you every single one of them. But they range from, like I said, 1842 to 2022. And they deal with 2022.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's go with the first and the last.
So the first voice you hear is Agila Tolbert, who is the descendant of Cherokee freemen.
And then she the one on the
she is not, but she could be embodied by all of those. Okay. And then the last you hear of Kyla, and she is a mother of a slain child.
Mother of a slain child.
Mm-hmm.
2022.
Yes.
That could be anybody.
That could be anybody.
Trayvon. It could be Botham Jean.
It could be anybody.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So. Let's take a quick break. Let's play some music, and we come back. We'll talk about where it's going to be performing at, and hey, listen to the Commish Radio Show.
Hi, I'm Ed Bridget, CEO, founder of Wrong Way Driver Alert. And one thing that we know, when you need to go the right way, we always turn to Commish Radio. He never leads you in the wrong direction. So here at Highway Nation, we want to thank Mr. Ed Gray for taking us in the right direction. And visit us on Facebook, Highway Nation page, and give us a like.
Who was that masked man? You mean you don't know? That was no masked man. That was the Commish. Saturdays from 5 to 6 p.m. on the Fishbowl Radio Network.
Now you show up.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means where you been, Judd.
What do you mean where I've been? I've been at work.
I'm talking about last night. We had plans, remember?
Oh, babe, you didn't get my text?
Really, Judd? A text? Really? You were supposed to meet my friend. She was
I can meet her another time. She just moved here. It's cool. Man, let's go get something to eat.
you've been like disappearing for like months recently. Like, what's like, where you
This
been?
again? I mean, what do you want?
I want you to be in this relationship with me.
Man, I ain't got time.
You know, like you said, it's throwbacks. You didn't know I was going to do that.
Yeah, I was not prepared
You
for
was not
such a
prepared
thing.
for the throwback. You act very well.
Thanks.
You act very well. Is anyone in your family act?
Maybe one or two.
One or two? Yeah. One or two. Who acts in your family?
My mama, Denise Lee, and my sister, Tracy Lee.
They both act?
Yes.
Okay, so what have they done?
They are stage performers. My sister is, my mom is locally here in Dallas, and then my sister is on tour with Ain't Too Proud, the Temptations musical.
Okay, all right. And you have this play that's coming out now? Mm-hmm. All right, so when does it start?
The opening night is March 31st, and we close April 9th. And we're really excited. Tiana K. Blair is our director, and we've been working with a brilliant cast of Black women to tell this story, and I'm really excited to share it.
Intersectionalities. Okay, all right, okay. So you have any events coming up leading up to that?
I do. I'm really excited on this Saturday, actually, March 19th. I will be doing an event that I call Building Character, which I give you some of the tricks and tools and exercises that I use to get to know the characters that I create. So there's some of my tricks of the trade, and I'll be sharing that March 19th.
March 19th?
Mm-hmm.
Where's this going to be?
And it will be in Dallas, and I will give you the flyer, but it will be in Dallas. It's right on the border of Dallas and Addison at a Common Desk location.
Common Desk location,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So you have March 19th, you have that date coming up, and you also have the March 31st. Where's the play going to be?
The show will be at the Wiley on the 6th floor studio, and so that is at the AT&T Performing Arts Center.
That's downtown?
Downtown in the Arts District, yeah.
Okay. All right. So you got kind of big downtown.
I mean, we are very fortunate, and we are very grateful to the Elevator Project for supporting us and allowing us to be a part of their season.
What's the Elevator Project?
So the Elevator Project is an AT&T Performing Arts Center project in which they partner with local theaters or local groups that may not have houses to do their performances. And so they have an application process, and they essentially help you through the process of producing your show. So you're the sole producer, but they are there in your corner to kind of cheer you on, and I am appreciative of that.
So you've done acting.
I have once.
Yeah, well, you've done once.
Yes.
More than once. I mean, that's that video, that's
Well, I guess that's true,
yeah,
yes.
it's true. I mean, I saw that. It looked like you were acting there.
Yeah.
Okay, and you, I'm going to play like Perry Mason there. Have you seen this before?
I have seen that before.
Hold it up to the back. Okay, that's Echoes of the Struggle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Echoes of the Struggle. How can people get that?
You can actually get that on Amazon, and you look up Echoes of the Struggle, and you will see that novel along with what I call a tour guide, which will help you start conversations about the civil rights movement and start conversations about how those events are still reflected in modern day.
You got you have all kind of merch. You got books. You have CDs. You have all that stuff.
I do.
All that stuff. So the play itself, how did you pick the people that were going to be in the play?
Ooh. So that is not the question I thought you were going to ask. Okay.
Oh.
No, it's fine. I'm going to answer it. I'm
that's
ready.
The
I'm
reason
prepared.
Why I asked.
Yes.
Hey, shit. I mean, why ask questions you already know the answer to?
So the way that I kind of listen to characters is they kind of tell me their stories. And it sounds really weird to say, but I hear voices of people who want to tell a particular story. I think what was more difficult was choosing the events. But once I chose the events, because there are so many events that have happened that we don't know about. Even sitting with my cast and even the first cast of people who read the show, we did just like a video of it. And I'm super grateful to my mom, Denise Lee, my sister, Tracy Lee, and Nicole Nesbitt and Ebony. they all joined in and kind of read these for me just to hear what they would sound like. And even talking to them.
Oh, so they did a reading.
They did a reading for it before I submitted it anywhere, just to see if I liked the way it sounded and how I would kind of change and amend it to make sure that it was shaped correctly. And even talking to them in that process, it's been a little over a year now. They said that there were events that they had never heard of. And these are people that I was raised by. These are people that I know a lot of the events that happened. And there were events that I had just never heard about. I had never heard about, it started with the Cherokee Revolt. That was the first one that I hadn't heard of. And I really hadn't heard of the stories of freedmen and the descendants and the enslaved people of the 5 civilized tribes and what that looked like. I hadn't really heard much about that, but I also hadn't heard at the time of Mink Slide, which they've had movies, I think, come out recently that have been talking about the revolt at Mink Slide and the events that happen with some of the other people who are passing, either women who are passing for males to be able to survive or to write or to tell their stories. They had to be men.
You have that in there too?
There are references to it, yes.
Okay.
And so there are a lot of, one of the events I think that I was most interested in as well is the streetcar boycotts of the early 1900s. We always talk about the bus boycott and what that did and how that sparked a movement. But there were streetcar boycotts that happened all through the South, very specifically in Houston and I believe Austin, but in Houston for sure, where people banded together and chose not to ride the streetcars.
And this happened before the bus
This happened in 1900s, in 1906, I believe.
So that's not like a new thing. When
No.
Rosa Parks said, hey, I'm not going to ride the bus. It wasn't like, ooh, wow, we have a new idea. It's like,
no. It happened, and it happened in several cities across the South as well, at least 6 to 7.
Just like the bus boycott
around
in
the same
Montgomery.
time. Yep.
That wasn't the first time it had happened. It
No.
happened before, I believe, in Shreveport.
Yep. It did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and this happened, I believe, 1900 to 1906. So this was a 6-year off and on in various cities boycott that happened. And so those are some of the things that I looked for when I was choosing the events, because I was looking for not only what was happening, what were the people like at the time, but I was also looking at the fact that those things are still reflected and reverberated throughout our history. That, yes, we know of the bus boycott, but those things happened prior. They just looked a little different.
So as you're writing this and you have people who do the reading for it as well, and people personally doing the reading, how did that go out?
It was actually really fun. It was very simple because I got to meet with them one-on-one to kind of talk to them about what I knew of the research and allow that to kind of help inform them on the reading process. And it was very interesting in that there were little bitty things that are put in the monologues that kind of tell you what's happening around the time.
All right, so now this show is basically, and I'll often said this is entertainment, sports, politics, and news, and this obviously is the entertainment, and it's politics as well.
Can be, yeah.
Yeah, it can be. But some of the people, they're going like reading. Explain to them what a reading is.
So a reading, essentially, once I've written something, there are lots of levels of that, but once I've written something, you want to hear what it sounds outside of your head. And so I did an online version because, the pandemic, an online version of a table reading. And essentially, they came through, they read, maybe even a stage reading, they came through, they read each of them and recorded each of them with the knowledge of their event, and they performed each of those monologues for me. So I can hear what it sounds like if it were to be performed. And that's what actually helped me before we cast this time.
So in your casting, was everyone an established performer?
There are powerhouse performers that are going to be on the stage. I'm super, super happy with the cast. We had great auditions, and we have a really great cast, and they sound really good together. And Tiana and Tamela, who is the assistant director, they are excellent leaders and excellent at at pulling out what they need with these women. And so I'm really fortunate, honestly, for my first kind of majorly produced show to have these women be able to kind of come together and connect with each other and connect with the women before us to be able to tell these stories.
What's going on next for you?
Well, right now we are still just super focused. We're in rehearsals for Rage. And so, like I said, we'll open March 31st. And that's what we're focused on right now is making sure that we bring a really powerful but fun experience, and an experience in which you can learn a lot and be entertained.
Now, I saw you had funding. How?
Yes. So a lot of people don't realize what goes into building a performance. And it's very expensive.
So it's like Robert Townsend, when he first started, he maxed his credit cards out. He must have very good credit.
Listen, let me tell you something. The maxed out credit card of an artist, I have heard that phrase a lot recently. But so funding is, if people are able to donate or sponsor, funding is super crucial to the process, because we do have to have a place to rehearse. We have to have a place to perform. We have to have costumes and all of that. So it does get expensive. It is certainly worth it, because I have been able to see what's happening in rehearsals, and it's certainly worth it. But yes, if anybody would like to donate or to sponsor, you can find that information on ragetheplay.com.
Okay.
And you can find where to donate and get your tickets as well.
Tickets, okay. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to put that in the body of the comments on Facebook. So you have levels of sponsorship?
Yeah, there are many levels of sponsorship. And it's really, honestly, every little bit counts. But we do have levels of sponsorship that even go up to co-producer, or that go up to like a major sponsor, and you get merchandise, as you've said.
You have merch?
Yeah, I do have merch.
What do you have?
Well, that's just something you'll have to wait.
Oh.
You know,
okay.
When you're a sponsor,
you
get fancy things. You see,
get fancy things. All right, okay.
Yeah, but no, we do. We have different levels of donorship and sponsorship, and so you can find all of that on the website as well, and that will also have the link to the event this Saturday. And if you've got the flyers here, you see that in our little QR code there.
Okay,
you get all that information.
We're going to put these out here at Fishbowl Radio Network, FBRN.US. I assume we can put these out here.
You can.
I mean, I have to ask the people actually on it. I mean, we put all these political stuff out there. So, yep, okay.
Yeah.
Rage, all right. Okay, well, as we get ready to go to a close, you have any closing comments?
No, we just hope that we get to see you in the audience.
I'll be there.
It is a great show. It's going to be a great show.
I'll be there. I always support young people. I like to see young people do good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always do, especially when they're my young people.
That is a thing. I was like, where are you going? I feel like you're going to say it. You're going to say it? Yeah.
That's it. All right. So thank you for coming by. As always, we'll follow you and we'll see what you're up to. It's All the Rage with Janelle Gray. So that's it. And hey, thank you for tuning in and listening in to the Commish Radio Show. Angelo, you can go to the play a little bit of Janelle Gray's music. As we're fading out. You don't have to put the video out there. I think they saw Janelle's acting skills on that video. Of course, you can catch my
naturally. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Cameo in Texas Voodoo Zombies. Angela, let's go play the music. So, all right.
I'm very proud of you, Daddy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Spielberg was right. See you guys next week. All right.